Hello everyone, my name is Rahul Maurya and today's session is on the basic understanding of the UCS server. What is the UCS server actually? It's a pictorial view of that because sometimes it happens that you are working as a voice engineer, right? And you are not at the same site or the site where you have the data center. You might be you are working remotely, right? And in that case, you you know that your CCM cluster is installed or on the on the UC server, right? But you haven't seen it physically anytime. So it's it's good if you have seen it in your environment, because sometimes if you are working from home or working from some other places, not in the office, right? And maybe your UC server is placed some other offices, might be some other country, right? And if you face some challenges, some issue with that, might be some ports are not working or some power cable is not working on UC server, in that time you should be you should have some informations, what type of UC server you have, what it look like, what is the front panel, what is the back side of panel, what are the components, how many fans are there, how many power unit is there, how you can access it from the console port, right? So if you are having those information, that will be helpful for the technically troubleshooting, right? So it happens, right? Like your hardware is good, but somehow someday if something is not working, you need to raise the RMA or you need to troubleshoot physically on that device, right? So you must have the information of your hardware. So this session is on that only, plus uh, some basic information of the ESXi, which is installed on this UCS box, right? So in industry we are having mainly UCS C240, M4, M5, M6, right? B7 series of UCS server. So you have to verify which UCS server you have in your environment. Like this one is the M6 series, right? And on the top picture you can see uh, here some of the indicators, right? So this is the power button, right? Whenever if you need to power it down, you can use that button. Sorry for that. uh, and if there is any alert, it will reflect over here, right? And these are the hard disks which are uh, installed or inserted in that UCS box, right? And sometime you whenever you access your CMC web page, you might be get some alerts information that something is not working, some alerts are there, might be as per my experience I have seen that number of times these hard disks get crashed or some issue with that, right? So these hard disks are hot swappable. So during such situation you have to call to your on-site engineer or site services team or whatever hands and feet support you have on that site, and you have to guide them that tape number 5 or hard disk number 5 is faulty, right? You have to raise the RMA and get the hard disk, and you have to coordinate with your on-site team, and then you have to guide them which hard disk is failure. You have to just show this picture or this information with them, and they have to remove this hard disk number 5 and insert the new hard disk on this. right? So this type of troubleshooting you can do, uh, or action plan you can plan whenever you such observe such issue in your environment, right? And from the front panel you can see there is a console port, right? And once you buy this UCS chassis, there is a connector which is connect over there, and then you can connect your keyboard and mouse as well as the screen, that with this, right? And after that you can take the console of your UCS server. So on the first time installations you need to connect like that way, or if you are not having that console cable, right, there is the other way. I will let you know how you can access that, right? So from the front side you just be aware of which hard disk, right? How many hard disk you have in your environment, right? And the second screenshot is the backside of your UCS chassis. These are the fan, right, and these two power supply, right? So in case if you face any challenges with the power supply, you just take care of replacing of this module, right? You need to share the serial number of your chassis with the Cisco, and they have to raise the RMA replacement, and as per the business agreement between your organization and the Cisco, they will deliver the hardware at your site, and then you need to take care of the replacement of those, right? And then there are some ports, like this is the console port, where you can connect your monitor and then keyboard and the mouse, right? So that might be required whenever you need to troubleshoot, or this usage is not accessible from the network, or in first time installation you need to you can access your usage server via this method also. First method, you can, if you have the console cable, you can just connect it over here and connect the mouse and keyboard and monitor. Otherwise you need to use this thing, these ports, right? And then other ports are, one is for your these are the network ports where you have to connect your network, right? And all the traffic from the UC server use these ports. And then there is the management ports, right? So what you need to understand how the physical servers looks like, where are the components, and what are the components installed on that hardware. And then this is the console port, console access. Once you get the console access, you will see this informations on the screen. And on the first time you have to configure all the information, like uh, host name, IP address, right, and other network informations, DNS or NTP informations you have to mention in the over here. So this console is known as Cisco Integrated Management Controller. So this screenshot is from you will get once you connect your keyboard mouse to the uh, UCS server, right? Or firstly you have to configure the IP addresses on this, right? And once you have assigned the IP address, then only you can get this information. Then here, from the console you can launch the KVM. uh, might be in the later session I will let you know what are the uses of the KVM, right? Otherwise the basic informations is like whenever you need to update the firmware of this CIMC, like firmware you can see it's 4.3, right? And if you need to update the firmware, you need to take care, you need to go to the console. You can click on the launch KVM, and then browse your file, I mean the firmware file, the latest file. uh, right, and then you need to reload the things. So, other thing is the ping, that is also useful in the case of troubleshooting. And then is the CMC reboot. In case if there is any shutdown activity in your place, you need to reboot or shut down, you can do it from here. Or if something is not working, you need to troubleshoot. And finally, if you decided to reboot, you can do the reboot from here. And LED locator. So once you click on this LED locator, there is an indicator, might be here or in the backside. It will blink, so that if someone is there in the server room and you want them to identify your UC server, you just click on the locator LED, so that LED will blink and they can identify which server you are talking about and which server you have to take action. Next is the ESXi setup. So once you configure your CIMC, basic information like IP addresses and subnet mask, gateways, NTP, hostname, all the things are configured. The next step should be the installation of the ESXi. And ESXi is used, it's a hypervisor which is used for installing your call manager nodes, right? Uh, as of now, uh, in market there are ESXi version 7 is available, 8 is available, right? So it depends upon your hardware requirement, hardware capability, which ESXi you have to install. And you can just verify this information from the Cisco site, that what hardware you have and what ESXi you can plan to have in your environment, right? If you have latest version of UCS, you might be get you can install the latest ESXi in your environment. So installation of ESXi, I will cover that in some other sessions, but for that also you need to launch KVM and boot your uh, CMC with ESXi, right? And once the server is built, you just need to provide the IP addresses, subnet mask, default gateway for the ESXi. And there are some troubleshooting steps also, uh, like network test or ping test you can do from the ESXi. And sometimes you have your keyboard is not working, your laptop or desktop keyboard is not working on this web page, then you have to go to the virtual media, or sorry, on the tools, and then you can have the virtual keyboard like this, right? And that you can use to uh, sorry, that can you use for the configuration of your ESXi. Right? And this is the ESXi server. This is the web page of the ESXi. Once you configure all of the parameter, the IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and host name, all the information in the ESXi, you can browse it with the IP address which you have assigned over here, right? And this is the your ESXi server, correct? Here you can see uh, what are the CPU size and what is the memory and what is the storage of your UCS server, right? And it says the model of that and what is the BIOS version of your CIMC, right? Sorry, ESXi. Once ESXi is configured, you can install your call manager nodes on this, right? And this is one of the UCS server in one of the server rack. So this is the front panel. Here you can see the hard disk. This is the console port, right? And this is the backside of the your UCS server. This is the uh, console port for connecting your monitor. This These are the network cables which from where the traffic is goes through the network, and these are the management ports and ILO port, right? And here is one sticker on which the serial number of this device is written. uh, might be here or somewhere here, right? uh, so mainly under the sessions you must be aware of the few things of the user server, right? Like what type of hardware you have in the your environment, and what are the ports or what are the hardwares is there inside that user server, and the CMC, how it look like, and what task you can do, like you can launch the KVM, ping any networks, or CMC reboot if needed, and then the ESXi setup, how you can do that. It's a basic of that actually. Yeah, and how your ESXi server looks like, the GUI page of that, right? And this physical server connectivity to the network. I hope you like this session. I might create further sessions on explaining more on the ESXi installation, right? Because that is what you might do in your environment, if in case if you need to set up a new user server or new site, right? Thank you. I hope you like the sessions, and please like and subscribe, and have a nice time. Thank you. Bye bye.